Hello and welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. It has been a few cycles, and as you can see over here by my cursor, um, all of this stuff is not growing currently. Now, I basically ran myself out of dirt, but I have been correcting the situation. Because if you look at my priorities, I have set all these to priority 1, so they're not taking fertilizer to them because there is so much else to do. I have, since that's happening, started to build back up the amount of dirt, because I am producing dirt. I just wasn't producing enough to keep up with my use. So I'm going to go ahead and let that keep building up, because there is other research tasks for me to do, and all of these little blue research points use dirt. So I need it. Uh, but in the interim, I have basically been living off of the wild sleetweed that's around and the bristle blossoms, which are not great. And then of course also our eggs, which I've got more queued up to go in, that sort of thing. I just swapped this around so it's getting ready to make omelets again. Omelette du fromage. All right. Although no cheese because there's no cows. Anyway, um, so that's all set down here. I have, of course, also expanded to a second silo. It's not 100% complete yet, but it is, effectively secure. I'm not so sure about how these tiles do it things. I think what I'll end up doing is over the course of time protecting this, but not just yet. I am not certain if these bunker tiles are necessary. These are just the ones that were here. I basically deconstructed them, rebuilt them over here, and then I ended up building the rest of these out to cover this. We'll see. If any of these get damaged, then we're gonna probably need that, and these will obviously be necessary, etc., etc. Um, Rocket. Alright, so let's look at our star map. This is completely studied. This is completely studied. Oh, hey, look, there are slightly different amounts. It's got the percentages there. Neat. Um, I can't get out to the metallic asteroid because I just don't have the range. Obviously, I don't have the range at the moment for any of it because the steam engine is still refilling. So I have a couple of options. I could, once this is done rebuilding, or once this is done building, move this rocket over here and expand it, put on some more boosters, try to get further. I'm not liking that because that's going to basically require additional piping and reworking all of that stuff. Not fun. Or I could remove the cargo bay, pop on a second research module again, and I should be able to go further. I think I'm leaning towards that, because once I do that, I'll be able to rebuild this in a way that I can hopefully make the rocket go further, and I'll be able to run cargo missions elsewhere, because then I won't need the research modules at all. But I think all of the other types of engines require both the fuel tank and the oxidizer tanks, although maybe not the hydrogen engine. It might not. I know it requires an oxidizer tank, but I don't necessarily know if it requires a liquid fuel tank, because hydrogen is not a liquid. It's a gas. Unless I have to turn it into a liquid first, in which I don't even think we're capable of doing, because I think that even as far down as this thermonullifier goes, it doesn't convert to, uh, you know, liquid. Let's see, what is the condensation point? Negative 421. And then what do you... Yeah, you freeze below that and stop functioning. So, yeah, not possible currently, I believe, to turn hydrogen into liquid. Which means either it stores it in the engine itself, like the steam engine does, or maybe it just accepts it into the liquid tank? I'm not sure. We'll figure that out when we get there. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say deconstruct the cargo bay. And because this thing weighs a lot more than the research modules, it also has more steel in it, which means that I'm probably going to end up running myself, to not enough to rebuild the cargo bay at some point. How are you doing? You have enough stuff for both. I don't know which one's which, but you have enough for both. we could make more steel. I'm also been giving some thought to this area over here. Because if we look, this area is one that has been really pounded all the way down to here. Like, I had to put in tiles to keep, air out and water out, or air in and water out. That's the way around. But I'm looking here, and if I follow this line up, it's right there. I could, theoretically, expand this out a few tiles and make this whole thing here another little launch silo. So I could make a really ginormous rocket if necessary. It's something I'm considering. So I don't want to necessarily put in some solar panels yet. I think I'll set it up here so that I can do so. And then just kind of move forward. I think what I'll do is actually set this up with like maybe a double or triple set of doors so that I can still run across when I'm not, actively launching. Yeah, I might do that, but that's going to take a lot of steel to set up, so we're not there yet, obviously. And obviously I'll get the top part built first, etc., etc. So I'm going to want at least 3 out and before I start building the silo, because I'm going to want to insulate this. I'm going to want to give it an insulation layer. And then I suppose I could put the gantry and everything on the far side. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm thinking out loud as I go. Let's get time rolling, because I've just spent like 7 minutes talking to you guys without anything going on. So we're gonna keep working on this. I did say I would, come back after I had basically got the silo done, which it basically is. It's just I gotta get that, and then I'll clean it up and all that jazz. And we'll need to figure out exactly what we're going to do for fueling that rocket, because that's probably going to end up being... Okay, that's done. Hang on. I know I shouldn't be pausing, but my brain is not fully functional yet this morning. Research module, yes. There, I would like that, please. And you are off. Oh yeah, I also, in addition to these, I set up, there is a spot here where it is 5 tons of refined iron. So I set that to be swept, so that it can come inside so I can access it a bit easier. Although I think they'll probably, end up delivering to all these areas first, because these are my power lines. I don't have automation lines set up to those doors yet. That is obviously something I will work on as I figure out stuff for the rocket, etc., etc. That whole area just needs to get cleaned up. I'm probably going to end up putting a duplicate of this part, like this, chunk here, up there, so that I can just take oil up into here, refine it, and then pump it, pump the petroleum in. That's, of course, once I've got that built. Okay, this is ready. Let's take a look at our star map. Where are we now? Yeah, look at this. We've already got like, up to 11,000. We can already send it on a mission to these two guys. But that'll only net us 20 data modules, though, and we don't even have 200 kilograms of steam in here yet, and this will accept up to 900. So this massively increases the range of the rocket. It just means we can't get cargo, which is unfortunate. But if we plow through the research, then we'll have better engines and stuff, and we'll be able to get back there. I'm just not sure. I mean, I'd like to be able to keep using the steam, but obviously that's not going to happen. This will probably get set up for petroleum once it's ready. And then we won't be using the steam anymore, which means we won't be cooling this via that anymore, but we still have this, and if we look at our temperatures, that has come way down. It's actually starting to bleed some temperature out, which is it was intended to do. Actually, I kind of want to do metal tile. Let's just go ahead and say a metal tile right there. I would like that to be a metal tile. That way, it will transfer the heat over to this area a little bit quicker. And this is where my thermosensor is. so that, basically once it gets cool enough over here, it'll shut off the flow of hydrogen to the thermonullifier, which will, then in turn, basically shut it off, which is pretty good. That was just the cycle, not the cycle ending, but the other part. These guys are doing a good job. They're keeping things pretty full, except, of course, at the times they're not running. But, that's okay. We've got this on as backup at the moment. Let's get this stuff mopped up. I don't know where all this is coming from. These guys should be getting repaired. Yeah, we're not quite to dormancy yet, but we're pretty close, and we're basically full pressure. Of course, we got this polluted oxygen up here. I don't know if we're going to end up emptying this before this thing, ends up being, off of its dormancy again. But that would be good. That would basically mean that we're running with enough power. Speaking of power, I think one of the things I'm going to want to start to prioritize is I'm going to need to basically get rid of this and these wires and instead bring a main power shunt down here. A full-blown heavy watt, heavy conductive wire down here, and then start distributing power down here instead. That's going to take a lot of iron to do. So, and I'm going to be crippling most of this, infrastructure in the interim, and then I'll be able to hook it into all this stuff, and all of this will run off of the main power, and it'll be nice. And how is this doing? Slowly building up. Let's see how we are. 12. Yeah, I kind of want to go to this metallic asteroid. Get these done. 2, 4, 5. Yeah. And it'll also let us see what's here, I believe. There's smooth hatches available there, which I don't really want. Not that I have the appropriate cargo bay for that at the moment anyway. Let's see where we are. How is this going? You. You're still erupting. You're dormant soon. Like, less than a minute. Which means I'll have to switch over. That's fine. Let's get that mopped. Is there stuff up here? Yeah, there's stuff up here. It needs to be mopped too. Look at all this mess. This whole thing's a mess. How are we doing on this? Yeah, the omelets I figured were ready to come off. Look at that. I've completely gotten rid of the frost buns in the cycle, at least until I actually need them. As it is, the omelets and the bristle blossoms are not quite keeping up, but they're doing pretty close, so we're letting those go as we can. How's our temperature in base? It is coming down. If you recall, these areas were all this color before, so this is actually quite encouraging. The water is really warm, but I don't know that there is a way to really fix that. Oh, hey, we're making more lime. We should probably make more steel. Let's get, like, 2 of those. I've got a bunch of... Oops, I didn't want continuous. I've got some refined carbon from those missions I ran to those asteroids, so I didn't have to build that. How are you doing? You are not doing... Whoop. What did I do? Oh, there we go. I accidentally clicked off instead of clicking the X. Okay. I'm like, all of a sudden, I didn't see anything. Fortunately, you guys still saw the screen because of the way I have OBS set up, but... Alright, we are in downtime, cycle report, da-da-da. You are basically done. Let's set you to be turned off. We're going to have to come over here. Are you active? Oh no, 25.4 cycles. When is your next activity? 33. Alright, so we are basically out of steam. And how did a bunch of chlorine get in here? I had been very careful about that not happening. Great, that means I'm going to have to figure out how to sort out some chlorine. Oh. I am unhappy with this. How did chlorine get in there? There's all this carbon dioxide. I mean, that was expected, but chlorine? Really? Alright, so it looks like we're probably not going to be able to launch our rocket this time around. We still have a bit of steam flowing in, but that's just the remnants of what was already on its way up here. Yeah, there's the end of it. So once that's all in, we'll check, but I don't think we're gonna make it. I mean, I suppose theoretically I could reduce this by 1 and get another one of them on. Now, that'll probably just end up becoming something we end up doing in between. I'm already talking about doing in between, and we're only about halfway through my normal episode length. That's not a good sign. Oh, hey, look, we should, well, not dig that out. We should ladder that out. Boop, boop, boop. Alright, there we go. That'll help let us get down to that a little bit easier. And give us access to that spot. It's currently saying it's unreachable. You are picking up a bunch of iron from there. Has any of this stuff been swept yet? Doesn't seem like it. It still says 5 tons. It's okay, these guys are still working on all these little electrical cables. Slow going. It is slow going, I gotta say. Alright, you're doing that. You're building a bunch of these. How is our wires here doing? Alright, we're doing good. Hey, there we go. Now this door has power. That'll be a little bit faster. This one doesn't. Food shortage. Oh, you're cooking. Alright. You are cooking. Oh, one thing else I've decided. I'm letting the sage hatches die out. I just don't have the food production to maintain them. Currently, these ones are eating the slime and stuff, you know, which I'm pretty sure is almost all that's in here. Why do they have gristleberries in there? Had I said that at some point? Yeah. Alright, let's get rid of that. I don't want those in there. No wonder I'm, having food issues. They were putting most of the food I intended for my duplicants into the, feeder for the sage hatches. But basically, I'm going to let these guys live out their life cycle and then die. I'm not going to renew them, at least not currently. I have switched over the regular hatches here to eating clay, because I have a ridiculous amount of clay. I've got over 100 tons. And that I'm producing in all of these deodorizers, and all it is taking is the regolith or sand. And I get this constant flow of regolith, so that's not going to be that big of an issue. What else? What else? I need some more algae. I mean, I suppose I could do something about that, but... Yeah, but yeah, letting the sage hatches die, which, of course, means I use all the eggs. We don't need any more regular hatches at the moment. Stone hatches. Let me pause so that I can examine the hatches. 94. How many are in here? There are currently 5 in here. 77. 21. 86. Alright. So I've got one that's going to die in 6 cycles, and one that's going to die in 14 cycles. So I'll go ahead and say, yes, incubate the other stone hatchling. That should, theoretically, take long enough that one of these will, that this guy will die. And then, yeah, so we'll be at 5 for a bit, because I'm, the other one, oh, wait a minute, what the heck are you doing? Where are you from? Wrangle that guy. Hey, what are you doing? Otto, move. Stop being narcoleptic. Alright. Somebody gonna go take care of that? Ren? No? You're gonna go play with him? Oh, there you go. You picked him up. There we go. Alright. Bloody hell. We already got another hatchling egg, which apparently we don't need, because now we have 5 regular hatchlings. That's also why these guys were considered cramped, is because there was an extra guy in there. Oh, and there's only 4, so okay. So that was the 5th one that was being shown there, even though he wasn't supposed to be there. So it's definitely a good thing that I, got that stone hatch egg incubating, because I'm going to need it. Alright, we need more algae. I have algae. Let's dig a little bit of the algae up, like that. That'll do. Now, eventually, I know that you can get algae from outer space, but I have not found any... Oh, no, wait, yes, I have. Organic mass. Alright. So if I can get out to 60,000 kilometers with a cargo bay, although it might... Yeah, it's just a regular cargo bay. I can get algae from there. I would have thought that an organic mass might have had some dirt, because I don't think that those are going to be dirt. Gas cargo, polluted water, huh. Okay. Anyway, gonna just kind of let this go. Do its thing. What were you even doing that you went that way? All of these power cables have been built now. That's good. Whoa. Okay. Why is that showing so large? If it's only 375 kilograms. I mean, that's a considerable amount, but... Alright, it's looking like most of that got swept. Let's go ahead and tell you to be swept too. I'd like to get access to you as well. How are we showing on this? That's quite a bit. Alright, good. We have quite a bit of refined iron. We got a little bit of steel. We are unfortunately not ready for much of anything. How is our range? Yeah, I didn't figure. I could send a mission out to the carbon asteroids, but all that's going to do is bring back 20 databanks, which, if we look at our research, isn't going to bring us anywhere near where we need to be. So, that's no good. We're basically stuck waiting for one of these geysers to erupt again, and unfortunately this one is going to do it first. And I say unfortunately because that's still over 20 cycles off, and this chlorine got in here somehow, which I totally don't understand. I totally don't get that. How's our germ situation looking? A little bit of germs. A little bit of germs around. Not a whole lot, though. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. Most of our base is fine. Yeah, I mean, there's a few food poisoning in the air, but that doesn't last long. How is our ventilation? Alright, hydrogen. Yeah, we're using up our hydrogen. That's not good. That's also another reason why I wanted to get main power down here, is so that we can stop using the hydrogen in the base. It would also, hook the coal generator into the network, which should theoretically feed power back. Oh, I still need to finish upgrading this power line. I should probably upgrade these transformers. Although that means I would then need to upgrade the regular transmission lines. There's a lot that I could just sit and upgrade for several cycles, but I don't really want to be doing that. How much, is it consumable ore? Yeah, lime. 155 kilograms. So that is 15 and a half of the iterations of steel, each of which is 100 kilograms. So yeah, we could make quite a bit of steel here. Let's make 5. Let's get 5 queued up. That'll be enough to, build a little bit, and we're gonna need all of this for when we make our second rocket. So I just kind of want to accumulate some steel while we're waiting. And you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up cutting this episode a bit short. So at the end of this cycle, we'll end the episode. This way, I'll be able to get a bunch of stuff done off camera, wait for the steam to, build up, and we'll come back when we're ready to launch this rocket, I think. So we'll just kind of power through the next 20 cycles or so, hopefully ending up with enough food, although our food situation seems to be equalizing out a little bit. We've got some of the berries, so let's let the berries process before we get back onto our omelets. See, he's still eating the gristleberries because they're in there. Alright, well, we're at the end of the cycle. It still says we have that. Alright, I'll just deal with that in between. Yeah, so what did we actually do this this episode? Well, we finished up, doing that. Let's actually, I'll pause a minute because I've got a little bit of extra time. I will queue up a couple of things here. Let's dig that up. Dig that up. Alright, in fact, I want to make this out here. That will still provide that. So let's get the ladder down here. There we go. And that will secure that. Let's go ahead and say I want you to be an insulated... Oh, right, you can't because there's a balm lily involved there. I'll have to dig that out manually once we get down to it. Yeah, so here we are, end of the cycle. We've rebuilt our rocket to go further. We just ran out of steam before we could actually do it. We kind of checked in on things. I mean, that's kind of the stage we're at on this, is the episodes are kind of checking in on things unless I am immediately ready to do a major something. Just because things advance slow at this stage. We're doing our last several steps of research here. I mean, after the one we're on, we've only got 3 left. At all. I could probably check in on a molecular forge, seeing as I got some of... Oh, before I go, I do want to check on that. Where is you? You, for some reason, are still holding the fullerene. Can I see the fullerene here somewhere? I don't want regolith to go in there. I don't see the fullerene. And I don't see any way to... I'm going to go ahead and say allow manual use so they can get it out of there if they need it. But I don't see any options of storing it in the storage compactor at the moment. I don't even know what exactly it would be under. Actually, you know what? I might be able to look here. I'll take a few moments and just see if I can see the fullerene here somewhere. Naphtha. Oh, hey, that's interesting. Okay. It's not under consumable ore, which is where the other variations of coal are. Organic? No. 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 Rare material. Okay, it's under rare material, and I don't... Yeah, I don't have a rare material tab on that. So I'm not able to store that anywhere, it seems, other than in the conveyor receptacle that received it. That's interesting. That is an interesting note for the future, I think. We'll have to figure that out, see if that's intentional or a bug or what. But we're going to be done for this episode. I will, like I said, I will come back when this rocket is ready to launch so that we can send off the mission, to the metallic asteroid. I will continue researching our last 2 destinations out here, see if I get anything different than what I've already gotten. I don't know if this is all the planetary types or the asteroid types, because I've gotten the carbon, the metallic, the organic, the satellite, and the ice. I don't know if there's another one. But we'll find out. We'll find out at least if I even have another one, whether or not there actually is one or not. But that is going to do it for this episode. So, until next time, have a good one.